All rise. The case of Tai Tai and Gabby Chula versus Laura Robb. This court is now in session.
Thank you. Oh, that wasn't right. I'm sorry. All right. Tai Tai?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Gabby Chula?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're both here suing Laura Robb. Tell me why.
So I was scrolling through social media one day and I came across a pair of beautiful designer shoes. It was an ad, a sponsored ad for, one of those peer-to-peer marketplaces where individuals sell to other individuals.
Okay.
Anyways, I thought it was an opportunity to find some designer consignment, so I downloaded the app. And once I downloaded the app, I saw her ad, and it was for a pair of really nice designer pumps. And normally they would retail in the neighborhood at about $1,000, but she was only asking for $500. I know what you're thinking. They're fake. But she posted a short video where you can zoom in and you can see the stitching was tight. And then she showed across the shoe, you can see the logo. And she even showed the bottom of the shoe. Okay. They were clearly worn, but they seemed to be worn with love. So she showed that, she showed the box, she showed the dustpans, and the leather seemed to be authentic. So I was 90% sure that these shoes were real. It was a good deal, but I decided to try my luck, and so I offered her $450, and then we agreed on $475.
Okay, 1 sec. So did you advertise a pair of designer pumps on a peer-to-peer marketplace?
Yes.
Okay. Did you offer to sell them for $500?
Yes.
Did she counter at $450?
Yes.
And you did settle on $475?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and continue.
So we agreed to meet in person. It's for
In person?
Yes. So I wanted to see the shoes in person before I bought them. I wasn't going to, buy them without seeing them. So I did set up precautions though, because I'm super paranoid.
You set up precautions for the meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
I did. For example, one, I left my wallet at home because I was like, well, if this is a scam, I don't want my wallet to be at risk of being snatched. And then on that same line of thought, I was like, well, I'll take a ride share over. One, because I didn't have my wallet, so I couldn't drive without my license. Okay. And two, because I thought, well, then I would have another, I didn't want my car to be at risk if this was a finesse type of situation.
Sure.
So I got a ride share from my house over to a fast food restaurant about 10 minutes away. And so I needed to take my phone, right? Because I needed to call the ride share, but then I also needed to contact her if there was any issues.
Okay.
So my ride share driver was super cool. And
Tai, you're the driver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
so I asked her if she would just wait a few minutes. I wouldn't be long. Then I would have another pair of eyes on me, another witness, and I could go ahead and leave my phone in the car so it wouldn't be snatched.
Okay.
And sorry if I'm repeating myself, but okay, so again, I asked for a ride share and it was gonna take me from my home over to the restaurant parking lot. And then from there, I was gonna go ahead and return home. So I asked her to stay tight. She agreed, and so she parked about 50 feet away from where me and the defendant were meeting.
Okay.
Then she walked over with her bag and she opened it so I could see the box that was inside. Not fully, but I can see that there was actually a box of shoes inside. She put the box down, or she put the bag down in front of us, and then she was like, okay, $475. So as I went into my pocket and I reached out to take out the cash, she grabbed everything, and then she kind of kicked the bag back at the same time. And so I was completely caught off guard. I didn't know what to do, and before I could even react, she had her hand in her purse and she was like, back up. So I took a few steps back, and then she picked up the bag. She took a few steps back away from me, turned around, walked away, and then ran out of my sight in heels, okay? Oh. And then for what it's worth, she definitely looks like somebody that would have, a pair of designer shoes for sale. But that didn't work out, so I went ahead and returned to my ride share, called the police, and then they took my statement and Tai Tai's.
Okay, so Tai Tai, you were in the parking lot when this occurred?
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
Okay, where were you positioned with respect to them?
Well, I was in my car, just chilling, vibing, and they were off to my left. And so after she walked away and then ran, she walked right in front of my car. And that, Your Honor, is when she pointed her gun at me and then ran off again.
Okay, and so Laura Robb pointing a gun at you, that's the basis of your claim?
Yes, Your Honor. Shortly after that incident, I had to completely stop doing rideshare altogether. I was very, very scared and afraid that a situation like this would happen to me again, or maybe even something worse. And because of all that stress, I had to even enter therapy. I would like to recover for all of the cost of my counseling sessions, for my lost wages, and for my pain and suffering.
Now, Tai, did the police take your statement as well?
They did, but I didn't mention the incident that we had because they were more focused on the incident between them two. They weren't really concerned about me at all.
Okay, well, 1 second, because Laura Robb, I noticed that you had like a physical reaction, while Tai was testifying, but I didn't notice one before. What's that about?
Yes, because I've heard what she's had to say. We've been to court. I admitted my involvement. I've been criminally prosecuted. I've heard what she's had to say, and frankly, if I were to say what happened, I would say something similar to that.
Oh.
I'll admit that. But the driver,
Including the running in heels?
yes.
Okay.
But the driver has come up with a new story here today.
Oh, a new story.
Yes, I'll admit that I walked up to her, snatched $475 from her hand, put my hand in my purse to make her think that I had a gun, and then left with the shoes and the money.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why are you shaking your head? She's admitting she said she walked up, she snatched the money from your hand.
No, because Judge, I had $500 and she took $500.
So now everybody has a new story today.
Oh,
No, I took out my money, and before I could separate $475, you snatched the entire thing.
okay. Wait. Laura Robb, because you've admitted your involvement, did she pull out money in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. Did she count the money in front of you?
No.
Okay. Did you snatch everything that she had in her hand?
Yes.
How much was it?
$475.
Okay. $475. You then walked past the driver.
Yes.
I understood Tai to say you walked by and you pointed a gun at her. Did you point a gun at Tai?
No.
Okay. Because of the variations in the story, I'm going to take a quick recess just to evaluate the underlying claim because I understand you were already prosecuted, so we should be able to access that closed case file. I think in conjunction with the testimony we've heard today, that would help provide a more complete picture so that we can come to the fairest resolution. Okay? We'll be in recess for 30 minutes.
Welcome to Social Media Tort Court, where posts can be unpredictable, messages can be misleading, and account holders are held accountable. Every tort claim involves social media in Social Media Tort Court.
All right, ladies, I have had an opportunity to conduct a review of your rideshare records, right? Because you're seeking reimbursement, you're seeking lost wages, you're seeking pain and suffering. I've had an opportunity to evaluate your counseling records, okay? And I do note that your counseling records do align with the dates presented here. So it looks like you began counseling after this incident, okay? And I was able to confirm with the rideshare company's records for your work history. And it does appear that Tai ceased working and driving for the rideshare company a few days after this incident, okay? So don't lose heart. Because Tai, I was also able to evaluate your driving history and dive a little bit deeper into your rideshare work history. And it appears that you stopped driving for rideshare a couple days after this incident, but it was also after you became ineligible to drive for rideshare when you were arrested for a DUI, okay? Now, I understood you to say that caused you a great amount of stress, okay? And is this court's belief that becoming ineligible to drive and unable to make money, that's what caused you stress? That's why you entered counseling. So I'm not really here for the she pointed a gun at me. And this court's conclusion is further supported by the testimony here today because you're the only person who actually mentioned seeing a gun. Laura was honest. She said, yeah, okay. My gestures made her believe that I had a gun. My words made her believe that I had a gun. Gabby Chula said she reached into her purse and said, get back. Again, words and gestures. You're the only person here today who actually says that you saw a gun. And then on top of that, and this is the icing on the cake, I understood your testimony today to say, oh, well, I didn't tell the police when they took my statement because they were more focused on their interaction. But I also evaluated the underlying case file because, like I said, the case is closed, so I had access to the file. And in that file, I could have forgiven that you didn't go into detail because I'm sure they were more interested in the armed robbery. But there was also a court testimony, and I read the transcripts. Not then did you mention that anyone pointed a gun at you. So I'm going to deny your claim completely. I do not believe that there was a gun involved. Next, Gabby Chula. This is actually pretty interesting because this is a case of first impression, call it for me, where you have a defendant here who's, admitted to their involvement, right? So we're going to start with the amount of money. She's admitted that she's taken money from you. When I evaluated the underlying court records, I do see that as a part of the probation, the previous judge ordered restitution. So I'm not going to here again order restitution for the $475 because that would be a double recovery and that would be unlawful, which really only leaves for us to evaluate the remaining $25, right? Not much, but still something, and I will address it. She said she took the money from you. You said she took the money from you. She said it's $475. You say it's $500. You said, hey, look, as soon as I pulled it out, I didn't even have a chance to count it. She admits it. I snatched it as soon as she pulled it out. So it just comes to what was the amount, okay? In considering what would be just and fair and supported by the evidence, I recalled your testimony earlier. You took a number of precautions here, right? I understood you to say, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, she took ride share from her house because she didn't want to take her wallet so her wallet couldn't get snatched. She took ride share so that her car wouldn't be in danger of being taken. She asked the ride share driver to remain in the parking lot so that she'd have an additional set of eyes so she could leave her phone inside the car. And she mentioned that she was just going to take the ride right back home. This court finds it just hard to believe that you took all of those precautions to prevent what you called a potential finesse type of situation, yet you took extra money with you to the encounter. No, you didn't take extra money. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. And so for you, I'm going to deny your recovery as well. So ordered.
Would you like to appear on Social Media Tort Court? DM us today.